Now, obviously we can't do it the way it's described here, use the cubes on your table, but when you see an object like this represented as a bunch of cubes maybe glued together, even though this is drawn on a two-dimensional space like your screen right now, you're looking at your screen which is two-dimensional, you can tell because of the shading and because of the perspective that it's a three-dimensional object. Like, in other words, if you just saw one of these cubes drawn, you would know it's a cube, even though it's drawn in two-dimensional space. So part of the challenge of learning three-dimensional geometry is learning ways of representing something that's three-dimensional in two-dimensional space, because you need it on your piece of paper or on a screen. And this particular way of representing three-dimensional objects is called an isometric drawing. Now, if you stuck all these cubes together, you would get something like this. And I'm going to need a way to find a way to look at my screen, look at my camera. It's almost better right there. All right, I'm going to see if I can do this. I can kind of see myself in a it's the tiniest little window. So maybe I'll play around with pan and zoom on the actual video, but this is the object. It's got a base that's 4 by 3. 12 cubes, and then there's 3 more cubes up here above like this, almost like the most uncomfortable couch ever because of all the hard plastic. But anyway, that's the object, and now that you see the actual object, you see how it's represented as an isometric drawing. We're going to look at another way to represent it. If I can get this working. All right, on your notes, if you printed the notes, or if you didn't print the notes, this would be kind of tough today without the printed notes, but you can sketch. I think what I'll do is I'll show you on the document camera how you can make a little sketch of this if you didn't have the notes printed out. Getting rid of my toothpicks. Okay. I've defined the front view of this object. Let's see if I can. So if you're standing in front of it, you're looking this way. You're looking this way. And so if you printed the notes, it's easy to represent that front view on this grid, because you just say, well, there's 3 down here. That's these 3. If I'm looking from the front, I see those 3. And then right above it, I see 3 more. I mean, when I hold this up, if I face it directly toward the camera, you see 2 rows of 3. Like this. Yes, we know that this row of 3 is further back. But in this two-dimensional view, looking directly from the front, you wouldn't be able to tell that. You would just see 2 rows of 3. Now the top view is defined by the front view, because if this is the front view, then if you were standing in front looking at it and looked down, that's what you would see for the top view. The top view is like you're looking down at the object. And so if you looked down at that object, you would see 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of 3. 4 rows of 3 in that top view. Like this. And some students draw all the little cubes, some students shade them in. As long as you outline the shape, you're good. But if you do it some other way, that's fine too. Let me clear that off. Now the side view is defined as this side. the right side view, which would be a little different than the left side view. If you're looking from the right, there are 1, 2, 3, 4 cubes on the bottom row like this, 4. And then this one extra one that's all the way on the right, up above like this. I'll show you. If this is front, this is right side. Although from your perspective, it would be like this. Like that. That looks like what we drew. Okay, now if you don't have the printed notes, you could either just have followed along and understand what you see here. I believe I probably made a draw it slide in Nearpod. You could try that on your own, drawing that. Or plan C, you can draw the top, front, and side views just on blank paper. Top, front, side. The front was a row of 3 and a second row of 3. The top was 4 rows of 3. And the side we had a row of 4 with 1 extra cube like that. Just a sketch like that is good also to help you understand how we did this.